In today's video, I'm going to share with you a guiding principle and a fundamental belief that I live by, and it has proven itself again and again in my life to the point that I call it the absolute truth. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the bumpy ride. Of course, I have a story to go with it. It was the Christmas holidays of 2000. Wow, almost 25 years ago. Where did the time go? I decided to take my family on a road trip to show them around Alva, Oklahoma, in my alma mater, Northwestern State University, Oklahoma State University, Northwestern Oklahoma State University, that I attended in 1974-75 when I first came to the United States. If you know me or anything about me, then you'll know that I don't read newspapers, listen to the radio or TV broadcast of news. I figured if there was something important that will impact my life, I'll find out somehow. So when we headed up I-45 to Dallas and then I-35 towards Oklahoma, it wasn't a surprise that we drove right into the worst snowstorm that the state of Oklahoma had seen in 105 years. Instead of arriving in Alva by 7 or 8 as we had planned in the evening, we didn't get there until 4 a.m. Needless to say, the motel owner with whom we had reserved a room was not thrilled. Anyway, in the morning when the kids woke up, they were thrilled to see so much snow. My daughter was almost 10 at that time and my son was 80 years old. We found a broken cardboard box and turned it into a sled for the kids to go down small hills in an otherwise flat country. I took them on a tour of the university, showed them the dorm where I had lived, and just the usual stuff. Uh, Told stories about my younger days and showed them the spot where I slipped and fell on the ice and bruised my right hip that reminds me of the incident even today during cold weather. After the tour of the university, we decided to take a scenic route back instead of just going back down 35. So we took a different route than the one that we came up on. And I showed the children the small towns from where my college friends came along the way. Eventually, we had to get back on I-35, and by the time we got on I-35, it was already dark. And while the snow had stopped, the roads had turned into icy highways. We were driving along at a snail pace of 20 miles an hour on I-35, being very careful. And we saw many cars that were driven off the highway And my wife said to me, what would we do if something like this happened to us? Pointing to a car that had apparently hit the hillside on the right side of the road as we were going south. I told her about my founding belief, my fundamental belief that God does not burden a soul more than it can bear. And that if something like that happened, we will still be okay. If we got into some kind of trouble, it wouldn't be so big or so bad that we cannot handle it. No sooner had I spoken those words that my van went into a tailspin. And after doing two donuts on I-35 heading south, my van finally came to a stop in the median just along the highway, not too far from the shoulder, pointing in the right direction. And as the van was coming to a stop, I saw from the corner of my eye and then into the rear view mirror on the driver's side that a pickup truck heading north across the median on the other side had slowed down, made a U turn, and came up and stopped right in front of us. The Good Samaritan pulled us out of the median onto the shoulder and refused to take any compensation for his generosity. We were truly blessed. I have many such stories about this principle that had proved itself to me as a as an absolute truth that I go by, especially when I was doing a solo walk along Route 66 when I was 62 years old back in 2016. So, to sum up the whole idea, God doesn't burden a soul more than it can bear. And as Beretta used to say, you can take that to the bank. My friends, let me just remind you that you can create magic and miracles when you embrace your inner weirdo. And I'll see you in the next video. You have a blessed day and stay blessed, my friend. Stay blessed.